Welcome to Empowered Within, a soul clenching, transformational podcast that will set your soul on fire through candid and inspiring conversations. Leading experts, celebrities, healers, and I share our journeys of how we've overcome challenges to living an empowered life from within. I'm your host, Jennifer Pilates. Welcome to another episode of Empowered Within. Well, hello there and welcome to the show. I am just so excited for our guest today, Amy Nicole Ellis. Amy Nicole is the founder of Fix Yourself and Flaunt It, a human design life consulting program for women who are ready to ditch the comparison game to understand how they are designed. Using human design as a self-coaching tool, Amy doesn't fix women. She reminds them they were never broken in the first place. After navigating 3 bankruptcies and rebuilding from the ground up each time, Amy knows what it takes to rise when life knocks you down. Welcome to the show, Amy Nicole.
Thank you, Jennifer, for having me.
This is just so exciting. We were
Look,
talking
I felt like
Tuesday,
putting on the boxing gloves, like,
right?
yes.
We are ready to go. She popped up on my schedule out of nowhere, and I looked and I went, ooh, the universe has something good in store for us today. So, y'all sit back, you grab your pen, your paper, you grab your cup of tea, whatever you need, because we are diving right in. And this, Amy Nicole, is where I want to start. 3 bankruptcies, 0 regrets. How did the 3 bankruptcies shape you into who you are and where you are in this moment in time?
Oh, wow. Yeah. And folks, you heard her right. She did not stutter. 3 bankruptcies. We can forget about the breakups, even though they
Right.
kind of coincide. The 3 bankruptcies. I would
As a
say
human and right personally, personal bankrupts, business bankrupts, they just happen.
they just happen. And for me,
Hmm.
it happened 3 times. Late 20s, late 30s, and early 50s. Yeah, so the last one is the one that broke me. It's funny you would think that the other ones did, but this last one actually broke me. I remember, so I'm in my happy space. So I'm sitting in my happy space doing the virtual bankruptcy meeting. And I'm just like, how am I here again? Again, for the third time. And then it was like, okay, well, you know, suck it up. Because this one I think I felt I did everything right. The bankruptcy, that third one came from me having a lost job. I got laid off in 2021. I switched careers, first of all, after after the pandemic, because I was fed up. So switched careers, 2.5 months in, 21 of us got laid off. And it took like a year and a half for me to get another job. So of course, in between that time, I have to live. I have to eat. So I had 3 credit cards, which pretty much was like they were closed. I set up a payment plan, like they
Hmm.
scheduled, that like they said, and it's like, mm-mm, mm-mm. I gotta take care of me first. Can't have
Hmm.
money going out, and that was the decision that I made, unbeknownst to me, because the prior 2 bankruptcies, I never had anyone sheriff wise come knocking on my door, serving me papers. I'm like, what?
Wait, wait, what? What? Someone came to you,
Yes,
wait, and served you papers about what? Do tell.
about the credit cards. So, like the previous 2 bankruptcies, of course, I had like credit card debt going into
Hmm.
it. Never been served by the sheriff from the credit card companies. From the houses, yes, but from the credit card companies, no. This time, yeah, knock on the door, and I'm like, okay. And he had the 3 papers from
Uh-huh.
those 3 credit card companies. I was like, when did this happen?
And what did it say? Pay
Pretty
or
much,
we're
yeah,
gonna put you.
pay or we're gonna put liens against stuff. Well, I didn't. Well, only thing I had payment on was a car. Didn't own any property. So it's okay. Then it's like, well, let me see if I can do it myself. I'm Googling and see if I can do whatever process. And it was like, Amy, come on now. We've been through this before. You know what it takes to get through it, and you know what you had after you went through it. So let's just go ahead and fork out the money and get a bankruptcy attorney and let's just do it
Hmm.
all over again.
So
Because
in doing that, then did that paperwork go away? Like what happened?
And ended up like filing bankruptcy. So once I got the attorney, he reached out to those companies and said, "Hey, this is what we're doing." And yeah, they
So were you in default a long time before they sent out? I don't know how that worked.
so that was 2021 when I defaulted, we'll just say,
Hmm.
and I filed, I think it was 2023.
Oh, so they gave you some time.
Yeah, and they kept calling.
Oh,
They were called,
of
trust and
course they're
believe.
gonna call. They're gonna
And then
call.
it was
Sure.
like, okay, that fear. I was
Hmm.
like, let's just face it. So I picked up the phone and I talked to him and I was like, I don't have it. I'm barely living and I didn't have it. And
Hmm.
then, like I said, once I got served, that's when I got the attorney. So
So that was about 2 years later, 3 years
two,
later.
2 years later.
2 years later. So you were really struggling for two. I really want people to understand because I feel like there's so many people right now are living paycheck to paycheck and so many people are struggling. And so you were, let's just say dodging phone calls,
Oh, yes,
for 2 years.
for two
And
years.
then the universe said, Miss Amy
Yeah.
Nicole.
Like I said, about a year and a half. So
Hmm.
2022, I finally got a full-time job. So we'll say W-2 wise, I'm HR.
Hmm.
We'll just leave that there. So I'm HR. So I went from like this money
Yes,
making
right.
back down to this. And I'm like, I have so much experience and y'all want to, but that's a whole nother testimony in itself, how I got the job that I had
Hmm.
because I'm in a different position now. But
Right.
it came right on time. And it was like, okay, that was 2022 and 2023 is when I made a
Hmm.
decision to reach out to the attorney. Like you said, got the phone calls and got served. Yeah, at the time, trust and believe, I am not proud of the three bankruptcies. However, I am smiling because I know based on data how the outcome comes.
And
So,
that leads me into my next question because you like to say failure is data, not defeat.
yes,
Why every misstep holds the blueprint for your next best move. So, one, I want to know how you got to that mindset because you definitely are saying like you're struggling. And I know so many people right now that are living hand to mouth, that are struggling, and that would never, right? Because of the mindset, because of how they've been programmed. Bankruptcy is the worst thing ever. And I look at it as why is it bad for you, but it's not bad for billionaires around the world? It is nothing more than when you do your taxes. Either you have someone smart enough to find every loophole for you, or you don't. But I'm that person. That's me in looking at if there's a loophole, I'm going to find it. If there's a system that's set up, why aren't you using it as anyone else is using it? I'm not saying abuse it, I'm saying
exactly.
use it. So,
Absolutely.
talk to me about failure is data, not defeat.
So I came up with that phrase actually a couple of months ago when I was doing an interview. And I was like, oh, that's good, right? However, data is the patterns that we repeat. And I noticed that I was repeating patterns, be it with the relationships, because Jennifer, those relationships kind of coincide with the bankruptcy. And those were three major, we'll say, influential type relationships. But I'm pretty sure we're going to get to that and how
Mm-hmm.
all that. But nevertheless, when it's like after the second one, I kind of start seeing some patterns. Why am I attracting this type of person? Why do I keep having these money issues or whatever? And I just happen to change the mind frame of it. Because one thing, if you keep wallowing in it, you ain't going to get out of it. So you
Right.
have a choice. You're either going to stay in or you're going to pull up your big girl panties and get out. I decided to get out because I remember, we'll just say after that last breakup, which technically caught me by surprise, but technically didn't, I was like, okay, God, we've been here before. What are we going to do? You
Mm-hmm.
got me? All right.
Right. Exactly.
So
Exactly. Clear the
for
path.
exactly. So those that are struggling and may not probably can't afford because it's not cheap to file bankruptcy, but just know is you just have to what got you there? See the patterns and just pick a little piece to try to switch it, like a light switch,
Mhm.
switch it a little bit. And I think
Right.
too is how I'm designed. That has a
Right.
lot to do with it.
Right. To want to look at it. And I really
Yes.
believe when you say every misstep holds the blueprint for your next move. I always say there's a lesson and blessing in everything if you're willing to take that moment, which I like to say
Absolutely.
there's power in that pause. There's power in that moment if you're willing to see both. And
Hmm.
how is this happening for me, which you clearly have done.
Yes, ma'am. Because
Mhm.
I don't like playing the blame game because in essence, we're responsible for us. I
Right.
can't blame my previous partners. I mean, some of them may have done some stuff, but ultimately, it was me.
The common denominator.
Exactly.
The common denominator and everything as it was going on. Was there, because there is a lot of shame, guilt that I feel more so stems from society, and again, in how people are brought up around the word bankruptcy versus around it itself. It's very black and white. And I don't know about you, but I like to think of in any moment in life, if you've made a mistake, what have you learned from it? And now that you know better, will you do better? Well, if you know there's something that can help you, that can fix you, that can help turn your situation around, why wouldn't you? So, to the person that maybe is exactly where you've been, who feels the guilt and the shame for whatever reason around maybe about filing bankruptcy, or maybe they didn't even know they had this option, and here we are speaking this to them. What do you say to that person?
Wallow in it for a brief moment because it is grief. It's part of grief because you're breaking up with the patterns. So own it, be in it, and then step out. Because, like for me, what I did in each situation is back us against the wall. Okay, now put on armor, let's go. I mean, that's what we us women do, right? We put on that armor so that we can fight and not take a moment, like you said, and pause to feel it. So feel it, but don't wallow in it. Okay. And then move forward, find the next step and just move forward. That's how I came about.
What was there a pivotal moment when you got to that spot when you started seeing and understanding that these setbacks were perhaps a blessing in disguise, where, wow, this actually isn't as horrible as I thought. It's not happening to me, it's actually happening for me. That light bulb moment.
Yes. Yes. Last year, I got a coach, life coach, because I was at that point in my life after had already filed the bankruptcy. Last year, I was, we'll just say plain real estate investor. I did in my previous lifetime, had owned property, blah, blah, blah. They went with the bankruptcy, second bankruptcy. That was my passion. I was also known or still am known as the real estate investment lady. Okay, so I'm like, I want to do this again, hustling, bustling, comparing myself to people that we came up at the same time in the industry and now they're a millionaire and I'm not. So that was a big comparison, like, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? Hired a life coach. In that session, she mentioned human design. And I was like, okay, which I had learned a little bit about it because I was like, well, maybe this I can figure out why I'm acting the way I am, right? So she kind of broke it down a little bit more. That's when the light bulb went off. One, the type that I am, I'm meant to gravitate to things that lights me up. So I remember having a family member saying, so what are you doing now? You know, first you were a wedding consultant, then you were in real estate, now you're doing an MLM. Da, 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 da. So what are you doing now? And I'm like, okay, I don't like the way that
With
sounds.
that negative connotation. Oh
Right.
my God. I have to say, everything that you just said, I have done it all too. I'm a
Okay.
generator as well.
Okay. Manifestor generator. So you know, you're
No.
this and I'm like this.
Oh, I'm like, oh yeah, I've done it all. Everything that you just said, not even kidding, down to wedding coordinating. I've done it. Mhm.
Yep.
I'm a cat
Wow.
with 12 lives.
So that was like eye-opening, which led me to go down the path of, okay, I want to know more about me. So I remember buying a report And I was like, okay, reading it like, okay, I really don't understand it. But yet the person wanted me to pay for her to read my report for me. I was like, so I got into a community where, let's just fast forward now, I'm actually getting certified as a human design, I like to say consultant. These are tools. I'm not reading, you're going to do the work. I'm just going to present you the tools that goes deeper than manifested generator, five,
Mhm.
one, four, six, whatever. So once I started learning me, it was like, wow, like I have an open will center. Well, that's kind of where the money part comes in, right? It's like,
Mhm.
okay, that's making sense. My profile is a 4-6. Let's the focus on the six is the unconscious side, right? Well, that has 3 lines. Remember earlier I said how
Three.
the major breakup, bankruptcy, major breakup, bankruptcy, major breakup, bankruptcy, and now I'm telling my story, being a role model. That's what my line sits represents. Trial and error. I like to say trial and
Trial.
error, and then
Hmm.
wisdom. So now I have the wisdom. That's why I'm going on
Hmm.
podcast, sharing my story, because like you said, there's someone out there that does not know what they can do to get out of their situation. Not, like you said, not abuse it. There are
Hmm.
options. Billionaires do it. When I sat in my first bankruptcy court, I witnessed a business, husband and wife, file bankruptcy. And it was like, okay, that other person is going to probably have the same business, naming a different name.
I honestly can say, Amy Nicole, there's not a lot of people that I don't know who haven't filed for bankruptcy at least once.
Okay.
At least once.
Wow.
So, I mean,
Oh,
to
well, look, you made me
me,
feel better.
I had a friend like 2 weeks ago show up bawling her eyes out, humiliated, distraught, because this is what she's doing. And I was like, and? Like, I look at her like she said she was buying a computer. I'm like, and you're in a position, you now are going to fix the position, and then let's move on from the position. Like you, I believe, whether it's something a high or a low, take a moment, wallow. But I'm saying a moment. You don't get a day, you don't get weeks, you get a moment. Wallow in that shit, okay? And then pull yourself up by your bootstraps and let's do something about it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lesson here and there's a blessing in it, whether that's something to share with others or whatever it is down the road. But absolutely, I feel that the stigma that once was, and like you're saying, honestly, so many people that I know, a minimum of one time, minimum. So again, I'm not saying abuse a system, but
Right.
I'm saying, especially, let's go back to what you're saying, 2020. You're telling, and now fast forward, here we are in 2025. So what we're in 5 years later, so many people are less than paycheck to paycheck. So, there's got to be something here. There's got to be something. And now, not only did you file for bankruptcy, but you also said that you took the initiative and you went W-2.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm going to W-2 while I'm 1099ing myself because now that I know better, I'm going to do better.
Absolutely. And can I share just one little secret your audience may know, may not know? And I didn't find out until like my late 40s. May I share that little secret?
I want you to. Yes.
Okay, so like y'all know, I'm a 3-time survivor, bankruptcy survivor, right? With a credit score.
The mid 700s.
And for your audience, when you file bankruptcy, your credit score tanks like fives. Okay. And I'm not what, I'm about 2 years out now, and I'm in the mid sevens. And I did that prior to all that happening in my kind of like my transition after the breakup. I wanted to buy property. So I met with a mortgage person, and she was like, well, do you know anyone who has perfect credit that they can put you on as an authorized user? And I was like, yeah, my mom. So that's what my mom did, put me on as an authorized user. And that's how my score went up to the Jennifer.
I
Here's the
am a
here.
Amy Nicole,
Mm.
I am hearing bells and whistles. That is a business within itself right now. Do you know how many people would pay money to hook up with someone to increase their credit? That's a business. We just created a business. We're millionaires
Okay.
in that business. Oh, that's a business, especially if we look at the entrapment that parts of the world are in right now, where your credit is your value and worth, whether you want to eat, have a home, et cetera, et cetera. And who
Mhm.
knows where it's going to go or how it's going to go. Oh, my Lord.
And it did not affect my mother because that was the first question I asked the
Yeah,
bankruptcy
that
attorney.
would
I
be
was like,
concerning.
yeah, I was like, now, will she be affected? And he said, no. I was like, okay,
So she just like added you onto a credit card? Is that what
right.
happened?
She added me on and I told her, do not ask, tell them, don't send a card. I don't need a card. And if they send it, you keep it. And let me tell you, there are people, I mean, there are people that know this information. And I tell you how I know that they know this information and probably not sharing it. So last year went to a conference and I was just like, can I cuss a little bit? For
Yes,
S and giggles, for shits and giggles, I was
for
like, let
shits.
me apply for a $50,000 loan to be a part of this mastermind program just to see, right? Which I knew, but nevertheless. So he ran my credit and I told him up front, hey, filed bankruptcy last year, blah, blah, blah. He was like, okay. And he was like, how did this, how did this happen? And I told him what I just told y'all. He sat there and he was like, that's what my wife and I do for our boys. So when they turn 18, they have already established credit. And I'm like you said, shut the front
Mhm.
door. Because I know people who done it the opposite and got
Mm.
their child's credit messed up, but
Right.
never vice versa.
You know, along that lines, now that we're telling secrets, so I have a client who made his own bank. Get this. So, and I'm not talking, he is not a billionaire. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he has a chunk of change, but he's not a billionaire. So it's him and his wife, and there's two kids. And
Excuse me.
so every paycheck, no matter what anyone gets, and these kids are college kids now,
Okay.
everybody puts a percentage into the family bank. And anytime someone needs a loan or they need a car or they go to the family bank and they get a loan from the family bank. So they have a bank within a bank. I mean, you want now, if you want to take it a step higher, now the billionaires that I do know, now their bank is their life insurance policies. And that's a whole nother podcast in itself that people you're going to have to dive into. But like that, just when I started to learn about that, I was like, shut the front door, sign a sister
Yeah.
up. Like, so there again, there's so much out there for people to be educated on and to learn, but sometimes we don't learn until in our 50s. But that goes back to, okay, now that we know better, let's do better.
Absolutely.
So I
Absolutely.
love this. I love, okay, so your last bankruptcy was only a year ago?
2023.
I had friends that claimed bankruptcy, and within 3 months, they were in the middle 600s and they were buying cars.
Yeah. It's possible.
I want, and that's what I want people to hear. I just want people to know like your life doesn't end.
Mhm.
It actually is a new beginning and a new chapter and a fresh start for you. And
Right.
there's so many different, I mean, we're not going to go into the details of all the different ways and this,
Right.
that, and the other thing, because there's lots of it and every state and everybody is different. But we just want you to know that, I don't know, for me, I would personally say it's not a big deal. I'm actually more proud of you that you're considering it and that you're willing to do something for yourself to better your life.
I like that. Because I remember sharing this with a couple of my friends, and one of them, we were actually getting ready to partner on a program or whatever. That never happened. I can assume why, but I was like,
Hmm.
you know what? It was meant to be. I,
It's
I
okay.
I did my best not to put it because of what I was going through, but I was like, okay, like you said,
But
wallowed in a little bit.
that could have saved you from pain and aggravation later down the line of a
Yeah,
partnership that wasn't aligned. So all that was pointed out in that moment was y'all weren't in alignment.
yeah,
And nobody was right, no one's wrong. We just weren't in alignment.
absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we got to go back. Whoa,
Okay.
I feel like we just weaved everywhere and I'm so excited about this. So for those out there, because we want to dive a little bit more into human design here, who don't know what human design is, they just know they're talking about all of these bankruptcies and human design. What? So in layman terms, people have no idea what it is. What do you say to them about this is what human design is?
It's pretty much your energetic blueprint. It's based off of the time you were born, your birth date, and where you're born. I pause because it's not like the what Myers-Briggs Enneagram where you have to use
Mm-hmm.
your mind and like think about guess what the right answer is. No, time of birth, where you're born, date of birth, and that's it. And the chart pulls up. You'll either have open or defined or undefined centers, or you might not have anything defined and you're that 1% of the great reflector people, you know.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much it's a blueprint. And I had always said I don't have any children, but I was like, this is good for parents who have kids that can stop saying, stop, do this, or why you keep doing that, or da, 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was growing up, I wanted to be a model. And I remember one of my parents was like, well, you don't stick to this. You don't stick to that. You hear what you hear it, right? You
Uh-huh.
don't stick. It's
Right, right, right,
like,
right.
well, now I know why I didn't stick with anything because it was not lighting me up at the moment.
Right. I love that. They say that what I love about human design is that it takes a little bit of everything that I love and puts it all together. I call it like in the blueprint, but I like to say a melting pot. And it's astrology, it's numerology, it's the human design, it's the essence of your soul, and it's nobody else, it's you. You can't, like, you literally, it's a mirror for who you are. And it's like you look at it and suddenly those light bulbs, life just makes sense as to the patterns that you've had, why you've chosen what you have. And goes back to, okay, now that you know who you are, what are you going to do with yourself?
Yes, that's why I created Fix Yourself and Flaunt It. And it's not like fixing like you're not broken, but fixing meaning getting the information,
Hmm.
self-teaching yourself. Now that you have the knowledge, now go flaunt it. And that's what I'm doing right now. In this moment, it's like I feel like I'm living my best life, even though I do have a W-2. I'm working from home. That's
I think
in parts
that's,
of my
do you think too, and I wonder if you feel this, because I've gone through this phase in my life where I've gone from W-2 to self-employed to dabbling back into W-2 and then I'm in and I'm out and I'm in and I'm out. Eh, Do you feel that within yourself there's this stigma of, and it kind of sounded that way, like I'm back to a W-2, but at least I'm in my home.
pretty much. I had that when I was in the real estate. It's like, I want to leave my job, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I technically still do because I'm HR, right?
Right.
However, I work from home 4 days out of the week and I'm in my element. I can get so much done versus me going into an office, coming back, giving all my energy to people I can't write off on my taxes and
Mhm.
come home and I don't have anything for me. So it's like, okay, let's lessen that a little bit. Yes, I have my goal to leave. However, if my 1099 consulting business is making way more than the W-2, I might still keep the W-2 just because I have an option.
Right. Because now you, I feel, understand the sense of stability and security in a different way and how it isn't just a bad thing to have a W-2. Like I was so self-employed for so long and then I dabbled back in like a year ago, but it wasn't something that was lighting me up. I was totally just doing it for the money. And then I was like, oh God, this is terrible. Like I can't do this. I don't play well with others. I need out. And to tell you what, the universe got me out in a way that I never saw coming. And then most recently, I was like, how can I do what lights me up, but have more, like your stability and security while I still do the podcast and my business over here? And like you, an amazing opportunity presented itself. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this like heaven knocking at my door? Here you go, Jennifer. After all these years, How about some stability while you're doing everything that you
Right.
And I love that. But I also love what you said too about you're still looking at not only do I have a W-2, but you're smart enough to say, how can I still find everything that I can use to write off my taxes now? Look at how much you've learned through all
Mhm.
of this.
Right. And if I choose to buy a home, at least I have the W-2 income to show for it. So,
Mm.
so yeah,
Mm.
so the mind has shifted because I think it was this morning I was thinking it's like, okay, one of my goals, well, I don't like goals, desires is to exceed my annual income. And with that, I can put more of the W-2 in a 401k without having to blink an eye. You know what I mean? Okay, let's calculate how much.
Right,
So
right.
that's the ultimate desire is use
So
that
love that.
W-2 income and put more in the
Hmm.
401k and yeah.
I love that for you. So you've got the W-2 now.
Hmm.
You're still dabbling in real estate, it sounds? A
No,
little? Not as
no,
much. Okay. We're kind of not. Okay.
yeah, it's still a slight flame, because I'm not going to give that up. I'm also licensed, so I'm not going to
Never
give
give that up.
uh,
No.
trust and belief, especially in North
Mm-mm.
Carolina. I passed everything
Mm-mm.
on the first try. So I'm not going to give it up completely. But what I'm doing currently, if I won't, if I see land, it's providing me the opportunity to seize the moment, to buy property, to buy land, what have.
Very smart. I love this full circle for you
Yes.
that you've gone from holy moly to a different holy moly. How amazing is this? And that human design was sort of your North Star when you needed it, that divine moment. Explain a little bit more how you work with the Fix Yourself and Flaunt It program. How do people work with you in their human design through that?
Okay, well, they, of course, once you're in my, we'll call it ecosystem, we'll take a look at your chart. And I like to focus on like the centers because that's what lights me up, because a lot of things,
Hmm.
especially when you're undefined or open. So we'll look at certain parts of the human design, definitely, like I said, the centers, definitely your profile, because it's more than just a number. Each number is a line that represents something. And then we go from there. Like right now, I'm actually doing the 20 fears countdown to Halloween, 20 fears. So each day I release a 20 fear. And those 20 fears are in our awareness centers. So yeah, I don't want to give too
Oh,
much away,
don't
but
give too much away. So, if someone wants to jump on your email list, where do they go?
okay. So you all are in for a treat. So you will go to amynicoleellis.com/report. That link is going to get you one, your chart and your report. Now, that report that I mentioned earlier that I paid for, guess what? Y'all getting it for free. It's like a $97 value. On top of that, I also created a mini masterclass on your report. So once you get on the site, you'll scan the QR code to get the mini masterclass, and it will walk you through what that report consists of on a high level. So
That's fantastic. I love that. And all of Amy Nicole's information will be over in the show notes. So don't worry if you missed it, or you can rewind and re-listen. That's fine too.
yeah.
But it'll all be over there. So you can just click and you can grab everything. So excited about this. Oh my gosh. We're getting to this point in the show where I ask this one question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. What is one thing that maybe nobody knows about Amy Nicole? Granted, we have shared a lot, but
Yes.
perhaps there's maybe one thing that not too many people know about you.
Oh, I think I'll share that one. I walked on fire 2 times.
Ooh, did you do it with who I think you did it with? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You did it
Yeah.
with TR.
Yes.
I love it. Oh, I have goosebumps. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's the
yes,
best.
and that was the last. So the first one was with a TR, like representative. We had their
Hmm.
own mini class, whatever. And the other one was with the actual. Both times, it's like when I got to the end, I felt whatever I was going through just like burn off. And you're talking about when you put your mind to something and you're that laser focused, anything can happen.
Oh, I have such goosebumps. I love this. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Amazing. So, for everyone out there, you gave where they can connect on your website. Is that also where they can go to connect with you on any social medias and all that jazz? Or is there something else you'd like to share for where else they can find you?
Actually, Instagram, Amy Nicole Ellis.
Keeping it easy. I like it. She's my girl. Awesome. Well, Amy, as we close out the show today, will you share a piece of inspiration that you'd like to leave with us today?
Yes. Failure is just data. Meteorologists use data, past data for current weather situations. So you use your setbacks as data. That's all it
Beautiful.
is.
It's so true. I love that. Thank you. Thank you for coming on and being so authentic and so open about everything that you've been through. I know that you are helping so many with your story and with your insights and all of your secret tidbits that you're sharing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, everyone, as always, head over to jenniferpilates.com and you can find out all of Amy Nicole's information. All of her links will be over there. And again, Amy Nicole, thank you so much for being here today. And as always, everyone, may you live an empowered life from within. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe to Empowered Within with Jennifer Pilates. Your feedback is important. It helps me to connect with you and gives me insight into who you are and what you're enjoying about the show. For today's show notes and discount codes from today's sponsors, head over to jenniferpilates.com. Until next time, may you live an empowered life from within.